I have an infant just down in one of the other rooms. I fell as I got out of bed.
Did you?
And that was about 15, 20 seconds. Yeah. It stopped, and then it started again. But it was a strong jolt, unlike any I've ever felt.
Once again, the key is to remain calm. If there's any information at all, we'll have it here. We're going to pass it on to you. I guess the best thing to do is just stay by your television or radio.
Let me tell you, Joe Rico was a big comfort this morning when I turned him on. Immediately after the earthquake hit, he was one of the only people on the air in the Los Angeles area, so he was able to give us some information.
Yeah.
You knew you're not out there by yourself.
And we do have crews going, like I said, fanning out all over the area, and as soon as we get live pictures, we'll be bringing those to you. But right now, it's just mainly reports of what people felt, and of course, the cautions about gas and water and electricity. And those kinds of things.
We're getting a lot of phone calls into the newsroom here, and Chuck and I will stay on the community desk here and get back to you in just a few minutes. Kent and Carla, back to you in the studio.
All right, okay, Chuck and Colleen, thanks very much for that. We appreciate it. Again, you're looking right now at a live picture. The Earth has not settled down just yet. This is our Channel 4 Seismocam. It is showing us a picture of what's going on during this morning's earthquake. This exact videotape taken at 4:39 this morning when the main thrust of this morning's earthquake hit. Again, preliminarily, we're hearing 6.5 to 6.7 on the Richter scale, perhaps centered somewhere in the San Fernando Valley, an area of about 3 million people just to the north of the Los Angeles basin.
Time right now is 5:21, and we're not going to have daylight for at least another hour and a half, a little bit longer. And the one thing that I want to remind some of our viewers out there are a lot of folks that don't have any power. And the thing to remember is use a flashlight. Do not use any candles. One of the hazards that you might find during the earthquakes is that there's gas leaks, and if you light any candles there, you know, it might prompt some type of an explosion. You can see right there that there's a lot of power out. Usually at this time of the morning, there are lights twinkling all over the place. This is our live picture from Mount Wilson.
Carla, this is a picture that regular viewers of our morning news programming on Channel 4 are used to seeing. About 5:30 each morning when we crank up Today in L.A., we show this picture, but there are usually twice as many lights as you're seeing right here. And you can see wide areas of the Los Angeles basin and of the San Gabriel Valley that are going without electricity this morning. Now, this picture from atop Mount Wilson, about a mile up in the sky to the north of the area, shooting the picture south, shows that there is just not as much activity in terms of electricity as there usually is at a time like this. It's something that we'll be watching throughout the morning, and we have been reporting these power outages. And very briefly, there has been extensive damage reported already, perhaps one of the worst cases so far that we are continuing to investigate right now. The report, emphasized report, of damage on the Santa Monica Freeway closed at Fairfax, with perhaps some cars damaged there. We'll stay on top of that one.
Okay, let's hear what some people have felt during the morning hours. We're going to talk to Marty Ryan. Marty, can you tell us where you were at? He's a pretty...
Off the walls. It was impossible to even try to stand up and walk around. So it was really, really tough. And we can kind of see from our bedroom, perhaps several hundred homes, and there's absolutely no power on out here, and people are walking around the streets a little bit. I don't think anybody was hurt, and no major damage, but it was a violent shake, no doubt about it.
Okay, we're showing you pictures from the KNBC newsroom. This is not Marty Ryan's house. What about the neighborhood? Yes. What about the neighborhood? Did you have people coming outdoors to check on one another? I know that happened in my neighborhood.
Yeah, definitely. There were some people. There's a street above us and a street below us, and we could see flashlights and a couple occasions of cars that were outside already, you know, with headlights going on, and people talking to each other a little bit. And we felt all the aftershocks, the shocks that Rico was talking about earlier in the coverage. And every time he said they were feeling it there at work, we were also feeling it out here too. So this must be kind of in the area where things were the worst.
Marty, this was an earthquake that Caltech is telling us preliminarily measured between 6.5, 6.7 on the Richter scale. You have been a producer around Los Angeles on and off throughout your career for a long time. Is this as bad as anything you remember? Certainly the numbers would tell us it was worse than even the Sylmar earthquake of 1971.
Yeah, I was not here for that one, but I know that the couple that we've had in the last 2 or 3 years, this was by far the worst. Again, the others just had a strong rolling feeling. This had a real violent shaking about it.
Yeah, I felt the same way too. I mean, it felt, we hear this so often, it felt like a train coming down the tracks, and you could, you know, feel that thundering, and then pow, and then all of a sudden it started shaking. Everybody calm in your area? A little bit more comforted now that there's not as much shaking?
Yeah, I think the first few aftershocks, everybody, at least my wife and son and I, were very, very nervous, and, you know, it was frightening, but It hasn't been so bad lately. There have been a few aftershocks, but they've been more of a general nature, and there doesn't seem to be as much activity outside now. I think people have probably gone back into their homes, and it is a holiday, a school holiday here today, of course. So I think there's a chance that people will maybe try to just hang around the house and sleep in.
We might caution that you should look out for more aftershocks.
More details from people in the business areas as they head into the business communities to determine what damage there has been in commercial buildings. All the folks who checked in with us from hotels and from their homes have described the trembler that hit as of a major magnitude. They said furniture collapsed around them, the lights went out, and a number of communities in the Los Angeles area are without power. We're going to go back now to Larry Weissman, who is an eyewitness from the Northeast, who is visiting his parents north of Los Angeles. Larry, bring us up to date, if you would, please.
I'm in the San Fernando Valley, Sherman Oaks, California. There is still no power anywhere that I can see. I am on a major east-west street, Sherman Way. Absolutely no signal lights. An awful lot of civilian and emergency equipment going back and forth. I see no fires whatsoever in the area that I am in now, and a few people on the street doing the same kinds of things that Ron had described earlier, and the other eyewitnesses checking on family members. I've seen no damage to any buildings, but still no power whatsoever.
Some people have joined us within the past few minutes, I'm sure, Larry. If you could go back to 4:35 a.m. and describe what you felt and what you did about it.
Is about the best description you can give, and I suppose after this morning we're not going to have to tell any of the viewers what it feels like on a freight train, because it feels like this.
You can see that stylus right there, that needle just moving back and forth. It is still going very strong, and you can feel the vibrations kind of slow down a little bit. But yes, you have experienced another aftershock. We still don't know the strength of these aftershocks. We do know that the original earthquake that hit at about 5:31 was between a 6.5 and a 6.7, a very strong earthquake. Actually, it's a moderate earthquake, but it can do sizable damage, as we've been hearing about. And Paul, if you want to just run down right now what some of that damage has been, and no doubt there's probably more after this aftershock.
Of course, the most important damage, the biggest damage right now is the Santa Monica Freeway itself, as we mentioned. That is closed to Fairfax in both directions. The freeway has buckled. It's the eastbound side that has collapsed down. Now, it has collapsed down far enough so that you cannot drive underneath the freeway itself at Fairfax. Fairfax east and westbound is completely closed. There you see a map now of that Santa Monica Freeway. You're going to have to find an alternate way to go around that. Might get off at La Cienega and take Olympic. But that is going to be a problem for a long time to come. The freeway eastbound side has collapsed far enough down so that you cannot drive under it completely. We had some initial reports that there may have been some cars trapped underneath the freeway itself. That has not as yet been confirmed, but that's going to be quite a problem. Also, a lot of rocks and debris on the Santa Ana Freeway between the Long Beach Freeway and the East LA interchange is going to be bothering your commute if you indeed do choose to come into work this morning. Now, if you're on the freeway and you're driving and you feel an aftershock or an earthquake, they urge you to pull off to the side if you can, and please stay away from the underpasses. Get out of the underpasses. A lot of fire hydrants have been broken around the city. West LA, Hollywood area, parts of the San Fernando Valley reporting blackouts as well. A lot of debris on a lot of the freeways this morning, so might be a good idea just stay where you are for a while.
Okay, Paul, can you talk or find out for us if there have been any road closures maybe on the Pacific Coast Highway or in some of those canyon roads